Welcome everyone to another episode of
Yell it!
Yell it, yell it, yell it, yell it, yell it from the mountain.
Yell It From the Mountain, conversations with Black artists. And today I would love to welcome a special, up and coming, very in demand young artist from Toronto. And her name is Sasha Leigh Henry. Welcome.
Diversity of perspective is what keeps storytelling rich. Women should be the ones telling their own stories. I am incredibly hopeful for the future because of the change that we're fighting for now.
Sorry.
Because it's time to tell our story.
There's a vibe. That draws me to the black sometimes. It makes me sit upright.
As a filmmaker, you're running off of the steam of your own belief in yourself, that your story matters and that what you want to make matters.
Thank you for being here. I feel really honored that you're here.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
I'm right now hosting this Yell It at the Goethe Institute in Toronto. And I'm sitting also at the Goethe Institute. And behind me, there is an exhibition by Ricarda Rogan, who portrays projectors. And I'm wearing a white t-shirt and a jacket with lots of patterns. And my hair is loose and curly. And I have one earring on my right side. How about you?
And I am talking with Benita today from my office and my apartment in Hamilton, Ontario. I have a black navy blue kind of backdrop behind me. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a little rose over the left chest area. And I'm wearing some very classic gold door knocker earrings. And I have my big curly hair piled on top of my head.
Yeah, gorgeous. And as it is Yell It tradition, I brought a drink, and it is, what did you bring? You tell me.
I have coffee in my favorite mug that says Best Poppy that I got from Winners many years ago.
And I have pomegranate. Is that how you say it? Pomegranate, lemon.
Ooh.
Yeah, juice or whatever you call it. So I'll cheers to you. Thanks for joining us. Before we get into your work and your relation to TIFF, because this is a TIFF special, tell us yourself who you are, what you do from your perspective.
Yeah. So as I said, my name is Sasha Leigh Henry. That's the only way I ever know how to start talking about myself. I have to say my name again. My name is Sasha Leigh Henry. I'm a filmmaker, storyteller are really the titles that I align with the most. But I guess in terms of roles, I write, direct, and I sometimes produce as well. But I really do see myself as a storyteller and an art maker. I collaborate with a ton of really awesome women in the city on a bunch of different films. In terms of producing, I don't really necessarily acquire a lot or produce very many projects. It's usually things that, I don't feel like I myself, it's something that I don't think I could tell, or a story I could tell myself, but really could use the support or a champion to help get it across the finish line creatively. And yeah, I like to tell stories that broaden the scope of what's possible for people of color on screen, especially for Black women, and just adding more nuance and dimension to our lived experience and trying to really break apart, the monoliths that kind of represent a lot of racialized people right now in cinema.
That's cool and so needed. It's so needed. While I was doing the research, I found snippets of interviews of you, and I was like, yes! I found myself always saying yes, please, 100% agreed. And so this year, I read, you posted it somewhere, I'm having my TIFF debut. So you have your first time, right? You have a film in TIFF. Can you tell us? Two films, right?
Yeah,
I was it's not just sinking shit. there is like
Yeah.
another one. So Black Body. So we gotta talk about both of them.
Yeah.
Talk about Sinking Ship, which deals with a Black couple.
Mhm.
And you want to tell us a little? I don't know how much you can say at this point.
Yeah. No, I can
tell us about it.
So it centers around a man and a woman, a Black couple, kind of having a very clinical, they're just out for a dinner one night and the man kind of says something that really starts to have them dissect their relationship and where they're at and talking about how things have changed. Ultimately he feels like the woman in the relationship has outgrown him and that makes him feel a bit uncomfortable. So they kind of unpack the, reality of that and, looking at how the power dynamics in relationships are so heavily based in attraction and kind of how that starts to shift if the attraction changes. And, yeah.
So this couple has been together for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's I read it's in French.
Yes, it is in French.
But are there is it based in does it play in Toronto or? It's
based in Toronto. It is a French-speaking couple in a restaurant. The restaurant isn't real in the film. The entire restaurant is VFX. It's a bit, now that I say that out loud, it really is like we've gone to another place in time to kind of have this whole space for this conversation for them.
Can you tell us a little bit about realizing a Black story, not just any story, and then also getting into TIFF, a little bit about what was your way to get there?
There's no stopping great storytelling. Inside every storyteller is an urgent need to push limits, expose worlds, change minds, lift voices. Mark our words. Groundbreaking stories are very much to be continued.
One of the things that I could say that might have helped is I think it's important to know how to talk about your film and what it is that you're saying and what it is doing. What are you offering in this perspectives, right? I know I've quoted this guy so many times in my life, but it's true. Ryan Cavan, I heard him say, all film and I think all art is having a conversation. And what we're doing when we're writing and creating it is figuring out what's been said, who recently said it, is there a new element? Did they forget about this? Are we adding to what's already been said? Are we counter? And, so when you look at it that way, the goal here was really to add new perspective to romance and love for, through the eyes of a Black couple. That really was the first goal. Mm. And then the second goal when it comes to festivals was applying to festivals that could see the importance and the storytelling value of that. The reality of this is, I also think, of course, compared to, because the reality is I've applied to TIFF before at the festival and the work has not gotten in. And I don't think that it's the stories I was telling were any more or less important, right? But what you have to understand with festivals in general, one of the things I learned when I did my festival tour with Bitches Love Brunch is just that some of the decisions feel arbitrary, maybe because they are, but we can't take it personal. It's of no use to us as filmmakers to take programming decisions personally, because what it gets you focused on is why it wasn't you, instead of just going to find the audience that does see the value in what you've made, right? Even when I was doing Bitches of Brunch, really it's 4 Black women having a conversation on a bench. They're just shooting the shit. But in my pitch of that film, I say, this film is radical in its simplicity. You have to know what is missing in coverage for Black women in film right now to know that it's important that we have these 4 girls not do anything else than just sit there and be friends.
I told Abina, how's Sean?
He's all right.
Just all right?
Yeah, he pissed me off. Okay, so he tells me that he's taking me out on a date. Okay, a date. Not a hangout, a date. So why, when I come downstairs, is there some bitch? Okay, she's not a bitch. I'm sure that she's a very nice person. She even had on that green top I wanted from Fashion Nova. Oh, the one with the X cutout at the top.
Oh, no.
Yes, the X cutout.
Did it look good on her?
Yeah, super cute. Okay, shut up. Okay, so
I think those things help me just engaging with festivals and change my relationship with festivals. Programmers, sometimes if you're submitting, programmers are trying to feel they're trying to create an entertaining block. Sometimes it's not a matter of yours wasn't good. It's really not a matter of whether it was good or not. It's I have a similar short that's already programmed here, right? It's a disservice to your film and to this film for me to play these back to back when they echo each other in so many key ways, right? in which case then, yes, you want to get into TIFF, but do you want to get into TIFF if it's going to be played beside a film that is exactly like yours, and then that audience doesn't feel like as connected, you know? I went to like, for Bitches of Brunch, when I saw that it might not, it was gonna, would be able to appreciate was comedy festivals. I went to film festivals that specifically focused on comedy, because that for sure, you know, all else, it might not have any cool camera tricks or anything else, but the comedy and the funny was there. So how long am I going to spend beating down the door of, you know, the tier A ranks of festivals and spending the money submitting there, when I can kind of help myself by going right to an audience that I know will appreciate what I've made? Right?
This is so important and valid what you said, because I think from an actor's perspective, I know that you gotta, like a mantra, I have to tell yourself this decision wasn't meant personally. And I think it's the same for filmmakers, right? Like to not take it personal. Like I've heard filmmakers saying, oh, I will never get into this festival, they just don't like my work. And I think that is so important. And for me, it's the first time I heard it. And it's so it's something that we have to, as filmmakers, internalize.
What changed my mind on it was I read a stat, like when I was doing research to try and do the film festival thing on my own with my first short, which is a brunch. When I read an article where a programmer from Sundance said in any given year, they received, last year, the year before that we're doing the article, they received 8,237 short film submissions alone. Short film submissions alone. So when I looked at that number and said, okay, I only have so much money to submit to these festivals. Is it of value to me? Am I giving myself the best chance by taking $50 US to apply to Sundance? Do I really believe my story, while I think it's important, will shine through 8,000 others?
Yes.
Just because the answer to that question is no, doesn't mean my film isn't good. It means my film's audience might not be at Sundance this year. It could be another year, it could be another time, but that's really how I started to look at festivals, was like audience building opportunities. And if it was about more than just the accolade or just like the name of getting to say that, then I had a real opportunity by looking at festivals to start building an audience that liked the kind of work I had to make.
Yes, and I find it incredible, because you've been talking about pitches and pitching, and how everything you say is about strategically, you know, thinking ahead about like, where do you want to place your films and where does it get the audience that you want and that you need. And so I've seen that you put out offers for Black filmmakers also to like send you a pitch. And so I really was attracted by that, you supporting young filmmakers. Is that something you do occasionally, or was that a specific initiative?
I did that. I'm working with filmmaker Kelly Fife Marshall, Tamar Bird, and Eva Golubovic to kind of build a campaign around a call to action she had in her TED Talk called Make Ripples Where You Are. And, you know, at the height of kind of the racial upheaval and the protests, I really clung to that phrasing as like, okay, where I am, what can I do to help fight change? Because the reality of it is, like, I don't need to go and start like a PA program. There's enough in this that I don't need to do that. What can I actually do? And what I do know I'm good at, for the most part, is at least talking with people and being confident. And like, that is at least half of the job when it comes to pitching. So I use that as like kind of my Make Ripples action for the week to put that out there. But like talking with other emerging filmmakers and like people who are just starting is fully baked into my career. It's not like a give back thing or whatever. It is a pillar of my career. I don't believe that I need to wait until I get like a Hollywood stamp or $1 million project in order to pass on the information that I know would be helpful to those people, like people that are also coming up. It just, I mean, by the time I get there, I think what happens sometimes, which makes like the masterclass program really awesome, but by the time you get to a certain height, you genuinely might not have the time to give back in that way. So now, even though while I'm busy, but like there are people asking me, or a small group wants to like ask my more, pick my brain, like I'll offer anything I have. What my experience now is probably more useful to them than it will be when I make $1 million project. Because what we have, and what I think community programs are great at doing, community programs like POV Third Street and Black Women Film Canada are great at doing, is like showing the stepping stones between me and Ava DuVernay, between me and Denzel, you know what I mean? Because Hollywood presents it as such great heights that it feels like you're at zero and you need to get to 1 million. And what those programs do show you where the, like, you know, where the 10,000 step is, the 100,000 step is, the $150,000 step. And so if I'm at the $10,000 step and you're at zero, the information I have at $10,000 is very, very, very vital, probably more vital than what I could say after I've, you know, made $1 million film or something.
Yeah.
That's where they are. So that's a long answer to say I definitely am very interested in giving back as often as possible. Information sharing is power. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your other film that is in TIFF, Black Bodies.
So Black Bodies, I co-produced with Tamar Bird, who produced before with Kelly on the award-winning short Haven, which is available publicly if people want to go and see it on CBC Gem. You can actually watch Haven and Bitches Love Brunch on CBC Gem. Black Bodies is the sequel to a film called Marathon, which is already also available publicly. And it really is following kind of coming face to face with the terms of what it means to be Black in the 21st century. And, you know, we're seeing Komi Olaf, who as the lead, a poem recorded by him, really give this really intimate and, you know, heartbreaking recording of a poem while he kind of laments what the state of the Black peoples in this time. And it was inspired by an incident that Kelly, Komi, and Denisha themselves went through personally, and they really wanted to turn the trauma of that experience into art and kind of use that as an outlet, as all of them are creatives. And so when she brought the idea to me, especially after the incident, I was really, really keen on helping her tell this story. And so it's a really poetic, 5 minutes worth of film that, you know, I think it just made the TIFF top 10 short films to watch list from Now Toronto. And one of the—
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. One of the descriptors says it's a 5-minute film. It's a 4-minute film that contains centuries worth of pain. And that's really a great description of kind of what the experience is of watching it. So yeah, that's that.
Okay. So shout out to everyone. Watch Sasha's films, Sinking Ship, Black Bodies, and also Bitches Loves Brunch.
Yes.
And I would love to know, what would you tell your 12-year-old self, which was maybe not in the same state of mind that you are right now?
I would say when the thoughts come that you can actually do this and that you got this and you really can get those dreams coming to fruition, don't quiet those thoughts and don't try to curtail yourself or, you know, make safe for the possible rejection or the possible failure. Lean into it even more and really hone in that confidence because you have it for a reason.
Amen. Yes. Yes. And give away what you're working on next or what your plans are.
Yeah, so directing, so like right now I have a show in development with New Metric Media and Bell called Bria Mack Gets a Life, about a 25-year-old millennial woman navigating adulthood in a predominantly white world, which is made all the more chaotic by the presence of her imaginary hype girl, Black Attack. So I'm working on that. Tanya's a creative producer on that. We're working with New Metric and Bell, like I said, developing that, and then I'll be producing.
Sorry, is that a series or?
Yes, that's a series. It's still in development, but that's what I have on the go right now. Cool. And then working again with Tamar Bird and Eva Glubovic, producing Kelly's first feature that we just got support from Telefilm for, called When Morning Comes. And then
congratulations.
Thank you. I know it's quite a lot. Yeah. And gearing up to like write and complete my own first feature. So those three. Something in development, something I'm producing, and something I'm gearing up to write and direct myself.
What's your favorite hat that you wear? Like director, producer, writer? What's your favorite thing to do? Or is there no favorite?
My favorite hat that I like to wear is really storyteller. Whatever gives me the opportunity to do that. Sometimes like, even just in talking to you here and like being able to recall the stories of like making the different work and stuff. Yeah, storyteller is the hat I like to wear the most.
Amazing. Cool. So are you ready to shout out something, yell something?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Defund the police!
Yes! Powerful!
Defund the police. Yeah.
Thank you for your message. Thank you for your presence. I am so happy you joined us today, and the whole Yalla team wishes you all the best, all the success at TIFF, with every project that is in the pipeline. It seems like it's a lot. And lots of prizes, lots of festivals, everything you desire.
Awesome.
And
I really appreciate you having me.
Yes, and I hope we'll see each other in person soon somehow. Take good care.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yell it, yell it, yell it, yell it, yell it from the mountain.